Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face. Welcome back to another edition of this Motorsport Manager career. We've got the 15th race of this season coming up. It is the penultimate race of the season. We are heading to Doha. Looks like it's going to be all fine with the weather, and then we head to Munich for the last race of the season. It looks like it's going to be really rainy for our home Grand Prix as the season closes. If we head on over to the standings, we have got an 85-point gap over Ferrari, which means we only really need one car to finish in the points to clinch the title this time around. Hopefully we're not going to have what happened to us in Belgium, where we had cars just colliding all over the place. We didn't finish anywhere near the points, but unless something drastic like that occurs, we should be walking away with the title. Sebastian Vettel could be crowned champion here as well. I would like something to go towards the last race of the season, so we're not going to hold Vettel back on purpose, but maybe if he has a little bit of a worse race than Charles Leclerc, things would work out to at least put something on the line for the last episode of this season. But anyway, we'll head on quickly into the car development screen. We're still working on our engine, which is going to be the engine for next year. We know our engine is pretty shoddy, hopefully. Well, it is quite a big upgrade. I don't think it's going to get us anywhere near that Renault engine. But anyway, we'll go down what the other teams have done. Mercedes have built their 5th engine this season. I mean, that is just ludicrous. They've just concentrated on the engine pretty much all season. They've also put a new rear wing in there, because if they do build an engine, just because the customer teams get that, they also get a slight upgrade to another part. It is the rear wing this time around. So they've got a pretty decent rear wing. They do have a pretty decent engine now. As we can see, that Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull engines are all so close together. I mean, Ferrari and Mercedes might actually be equal, with Red Bull sitting in between them, because as we can see, the customer teams are just jumbled around there. McLaren, Alfa, Aston, Williams and Prema, just all sort of jumbled around. So I'm guessing they're all pretty much even, and that's why. So those three teams are so close together, and then Renault are just like one step above them with in terms of pure engine power. Meanwhile, Red Bull have got a new gearbox, puts them top rear wing for Ferrari, puts them above us at least. McLaren get the new engine, as do Williams, as do Aston Martin, but Aston Martin have also got a new braking system, only puts them up to 8th there. Front wing for AlphaTauri doesn't do much for them. Renault have got no upgrades. Alfa Romeo and Prema have got brakes, and they are the final upgrades of the season, so not much in terms of movement. We're getting into the latter part of the season, so that means most of these parts that get built now are not massive steps forward, unless one of them gets to like legendary or a really great component, which can add a massive amount on. But it doesn't seemingly look like most of those have done that. Maybe someone's going to get one of those for the end of the season, but we don't know. But anyway, we have slipped to 5th overall. Best car on the grid. Mercedes above us, Red Bull above us, McLaren, Ferrari now have the best car. Williams still up there. Renault still outside the top 6 there in the bottom half. Aston Martin have made some improvements, but Prema, Haas, AlphaTauri down at the bottom, and Alfa Romeo, after a really promising mid-season, their development's just sort of really cooled off. Anyway, we do have a sponsor to go with, PPG or Mobile One. We do have a mystery sponsor. I always do like going with a mystery sponsor. It's offering us the most. There's not a lot of sponsorship money available here, but who is this? And if we go, is it behind the tyre? It is Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker Whiskey, official whiskey of Formula 1. We've got going on the car, which isn't too bad. Now on our car, just on the side underneath the Audi Sport logo. And yeah, I don't think there's much else to go through before we jump into the race. And now we can only pick from our one sponsor, which is Audi. We've got 69 races on that. Possibly won't get that back. The Audi rings on the side of the car once we get to that point in the season. But anyway, we're going to take, as we discussed last time, we're going to take 9, 3 and 3, because we only need one of the harder tyre compounds for practice. Don't need any of them for qualifying, but we do need softs. We're only going to use one soft in the race, but I think this is going to be what we're going to use. Obviously, next season we do reduce down to 2 tyre compounds for a weekend with the new rules that have come into force. And we'll just have a quick look here, because it says Gasly is not as happy with the parts, the braking system. Why is he not content with that? Why is he only... What? He was happier before. What is up with him? I mean, all these parts are equal. Is it 11205? They've got the same part there. They've got the same part there. They've got the same part there. They've got the same part there, and they've got the same part there. So I don't know why he's not as happy as Vettel, but anyway, obviously, maybe he's upset that we didn't actually put the new brakes in for his last race, possibly why he wasn't doing as well last race. But anyway, he's got the new brakes, so we do have a slight upgrade to one of the cars this time around. So yeah, we'll get into practice as is usual. We'll skip over it. There's not much to show you, because I don't do that much on the setup, just use the ones that I've done before and then just tweak those ever so slight. But anyway, we'll be back in for qualifying in just a second. So practice is over. Red Bull looking mightily strong around here. Ferrari do have possibly what should be the better car around here, because their parts fit this circuit more than Red Bull, but Red Bull just looking majorly strong. We don't have a lot of performance increase available, and that is because this Doha track is so long. It's about 2 minutes 15 around one lap. We're pretty much there with the setups on both cars. I'm happy with those. We'll just stick with those as we head into Q1 here. So we do have to get out pretty much straight away, because it is such a long track, is this Doha track, and we're side by side with a Renault there with Pierre Gasly, which is definitely what we didn't need for the first qualifying run here in Q1 here in Doha. But hopefully we're going to see some improvement over practice. We weren't actually that quick, but you never know, we might be able to pick up here. It is absolutely boiling out on track, 28 degrees at the moment. There is a slight temperature drop, but it will return to 28 degrees to the end of the session, so everything should remain the same. Hopefully we're going to get a decent first lap in and be pretty safe. Renault Daniel Ricciardo is currently quicker, and almost a second quicker than the Mercedes. Aston Martin right up there at the moment. Vettel is off the pace, but he's still up there, 7 tenths down. Gasly, I mean, Gasly 1.4 seconds down here. I mean, Gasly at the moment is on the back row of the grid, so he definitely does need to go again. Vettel is not safe, currently sitting in 12th place. So you never know, we might not be scoring points this time around. But luckily Ferrari at that quick EVA around this track, so we're going to get back out on track, because we definitely do need to run again here. Nothing is safe. Nothing is safe even. But anyway, Doha does have the really short pit lane, because you cut out a few short corners. It should only be a one-stop strategy, but a two might work, because you don't actually lose that much time through the pits here. Maybe just go with fresh tyres, and a two-stop might work for you. Or the AI would want to do that. I think we're just going to stick with a one-stop with both cars, but we do need to improve it. It looks like Gasly isn't going to improve though, and Gasly will be on the back row of the grid. Or he is quicker in the second sector. Is he getting slowed down? And I think that's a Prema that he's battling away with there. Gasly climbs up into 14th. He might just sneak through here, although Leclerc is going quicker. I think Gasly is going to get pushed out by his own teammate. Vettel only gets up into 13th. So Gasly will be going out in Q1 here. It looks like Verstappen might be in a bit of trouble here. He's already 1.1 seconds down. He does need a massive last sector. Can't do it. And Verstappen is out here, as is George Russell in that Mercedes. That Mercedes just not up to standard at the moment. The two Renaults are up there. The Red Bull's looking strong. Lance Stroll, second quickest in Q1. That is a great qualifying session for him. I didn't actually see who actually went out there. There's any other big scalps. We've got Verstappen out, Ocon in an Aston Martin. Norris is out in the McLaren, not doing too well. Latifi out in the Williams. Both McLarens out in Q1 again. That car is good. I just don't know what it is with McLaren. They just can't hook things up in qualifying anymore. Gasly is out here, so we're going to get out a little early. Not early, but we'll get out as early as we can, because we do need to have get back in the pits and then get out for another run in Q2 here. It looks like everyone's got fresh tyres. Sometimes the AI doesn't bring enough, which doesn't bode that well for us, because we were well outside the top 10 in Q1, unless Vettel can pull something miraculous out of the bag here. He seems pretty close to the Renaults after the first sector. We're actually seeming a little bit closer to the top here. So second, third for Vettel. He's dropping down here. We've got the Mercedes and Co behind us, so we are currently inside the top 10, which is not bad, because we've got two Premas here, a Williams, an AlphaTauri and a Haas. We should be quicker than them theoretically, but obviously the engine does, and well, it does let us down sometimes. Might be one of the tracks that's going to let us down here, because we're about a second off the pace here in qualifying, and we're going to have to get back out right about now. And we're seeing cars further down the order. A couple of the top cars, and they're not coming back out again. Vips is currently in first place. Alonso's back out on track. We just have to keep track of the times below us, whether anyone's going quicker. I mean, 3/10 is a lot of time to pick up, but it's such a long lap, it might be possible to pick up a second here. Albon is going quicker. Giovinazzi is quicker on this lap than his last one. Is Vettel going to go quicker? No, Vettel's slower. So we might be in a bit of trouble here. We're currently sitting 9th. Albon moves up, doesn't push out us any further down. Does push Russell out here in Q2 though. And Vettel is quicker through the second sector. So it is pretty much down to Schwartzman. No, Schwartzman finishes, so it doesn't really matter what Vettel does. But then Vettel improves massively and gets himself up into 3rd after Q2 here. A pretty amazing run there from Sebastian Vettel. I mean, he does, I think it was the last race, wasn't it? It just looks like he's not going to put it together in qualifying, and then just puts an outstanding lap in here and there to massively improve his times. Was he much improved? Yeah, about 4/10 up from his run in Q1. So hopefully we can get something like that out of the car again. We do have enough softs to run here. Alonso, it looks only like he has used softs to go out on, so we should be able to get above a Red Bull here. We're going to go nice and early. We're not going to beat the rest of the field out, as Daniel Ricciardo is out ahead of us. Most of the cars are a bit slow coming out of the pits this time around. A lot of gap between the cars. Obviously only 10 cars running now. Hopefully everyone's got time to do 2 runs here. Lance Stroll is out on a used pair of softs as well, which is not good for the Aston Martin. So with Alonso being on a used tyre here, we could have a top 8. Hopefully we're going to get some sort of time that's close to, I think we did a 1:12.4. Hopefully we can get somewhere close to that. We do a 1:12.8, so we got about 4/10 off that quickest lap in Q2. Although a lot of the times everyone seems a little bit slower. Oh no, we say that and then Alonso just puts in an absolutely massive lap on used soft tyres. I mean, just imagine what that would be if he had a pair of fresh soft tyres. I'm guessing that means even if he starts on pole, he's not going to have a fresh pair of softs. Obviously he does have the luxury of starting on the mediums. We're going to have to get out here. We've got enough time to get around there. We're talking about Alonso. It is only a short pit lane though, so 2:20 we should be able to get around before the lights go out for the end of qualifying. But we're currently sat in 6th. If we can do that, I'd be happy with a 6th place here, considering what the car is at the moment, with a 5th best overall. So that would realistically mean we should be 9th and 10th. But hopefully we can improve. We're about a second down at the moment. Alonso is currently on pole position, followed by the 2 Ferraris. We do need one of our cars at least in the points. Vettel is slower this lap. There's not many cars going quicker this time around. There's not much difference in the temperature, but we finish and come across the line in 7th. Leclerc, Hamilton jumps his teammate, so Hamilton will be on the front row of the grid. He's not been having the best of seasons this season. But Alonso, that massively impressive lap on the used softs was a really good lap for him. Obviously, I'm thinking he's going to be starting on the mediums or even the hard tyres, which means he's going to fall down the order from the start here, unless they were saving a fresh pair for the race. We're going to take the medium since that's the bigger boost. We will be using a pair of mediums in this race. We'll possibly start on the mediums with Pierre Gasly, get through that 17 laps. I mean, the AI does have the luxury of running 2 pairs of softs if they've got them, and being able to do it pretty comfortably. Meanwhile, Vettel is there. We're going to push a little bit more with Vettel. We're going to ease off with, we're going to push with Gasly over the course of this first lap. But anyway, let's go down the grid for the 2022 Doha Grand Prix. It's Fernando Alonso. He is starting on a medium tyre, so he might be compromised over the first few laps because that soft tyre is quite a lot quicker than that medium. But Alonso starts from pole, Hamilton 2nd, Leclerc 3rd, Ricciardo is 4th, Yuri Vips 5th, Sergio Perez 6th. Then on 7th is Sebastian Vettel for us, Joseph Newgarden up there in Haas. Big changes coming to Haas next season maybe. Giovinazzi in the Prema is 9th, good qualifying for him. Lance Stroll managed to get through into Q3, starts from 10th. Hulkenberg is 11th, starting on new soft in the Williams. Albon starts on the hards in the AlphaTauri. Russell is 13th. Schwartzman 14th in the Prema. Magnussen 15th in a Haas. Bottas 16th. Pierre Gasly quite far down the order, ahead of Max Verstappen, who's right down there in 18th. Tsunoda 19th. Ocon 20th. Norris is 21st. Disappointing for McLaren this time around. Latifi 22nd. Sainz starts on the grid right behind his teammate in 23rd, and Mick Schumacher is 24th in the Alfa Romeo. I mean, Schumacher does have a race win this season when Alfa Romeo just had some massive updates and pushed themselves right to the top. But Vettel gets off the line really well, but gets held up there behind Yuri Vips. And Alonso on that medium tyre has got away pretty well. He's got Hamilton breathing right down his neck. Albon has jumped all the way up into third here. An absolutely amazing start from Alexander Albon. But we get away into fifth. Gasly is moving his way up through the order in this medium tyre. This medium not looking half bad here. Obviously, we do have the boost for the medium. Maybe Alonso has that boost for the mediums as well. But Alonso qualifying was about 7/10 up, wasn't he? So maybe that does negate what the pace difference is between the tyres, because he's a lot quicker than Lewis Hamilton, although Lewis is cooling down his tyres already. I mean, the weather is still really hot here. It's 29 degrees. We don't have to worry about the temperatures that much, but I would like to be able to push past this Prema in front of us, and then it is a clear door to the AlphaTauri, which is putting Lewis Hamilton under pressure here, whereas Leclerc has fallen down the order. Gasly could be and should be able to get back up into the points here. It is a Haas in front of him. That's Joseph Newgarden, who I think started from 8th on the grid. We should be able to clear the Haas in front of us, then it'll be a little bit harder to get past the Red Bull in front of them. But we want to make this move on this Haas and then try cool down. We're actually losing ground to the Haas. We're coming under pressure. I mean, it's going to take a long time and a lot of aggressive conservation on these tyres. I mean, because it is so hot, 29 degrees, it's going to take... I mean, the AI is possibly just going to shred through their tyres. I mean, we've got Alonso and Hamilton just running on full backup mode at the moment. We're just going to do that. I know we're under pressure. We've dropped to 6. Leclerc's got past us in the Ferrari. It's all just... Oh! And that is not great. That is Vettel locking up, and that is Gasly locking up as well. So a lot of lockups going around that. Should be the slowest corner around here in Doha. It's the corner you cut out through the pits, but Gasly is up into 10th place. We just try to cool down these tyres. Sergio Perez is behind him. Everyone just being ultra conservative with these tyres now around this Doha track as we are on lap 3 and just try to cool down. Vettel is running behind the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, and it's all about just securing a couple of points this weekend. We've got no chance of a win, and it's going to be pretty hard to get us up onto the podium. The Prema's looking pretty good. I mean, the AlphaTauri's there. The Ferraris are a lot quicker than us. But we're hanging on to the back of the Ferrari at least here. We don't have to look after this tyre too much, so we can just switch up now since we're almost out of the red zone. Maybe we can get somewhere close to Charles Leclerc now. We can do. We actually get past Charles Leclerc. Can we actually make that move stick? Let's actually just boost ourselves a little bit here. Make sure we can get that move solidified. Get a little bit away from Charles Leclerc. Hopefully he doesn't come straight back at us. But there we go. We do get away from Charles Leclerc. Gasly is still running inside the top 10. That is Lance Stroll in front of him. He had a decent qualifying session. Didn't have any fresh soft tyres for Q3, though compromised himself in Q3 by not bringing enough tyres for the weekend. But Gasly loses out on that corner, and Sergio Perez gets a better run out of that corner, and it doesn't like we're going to pick that back up. We don't want these tyres to overheat here, whereas Vettel is still ahead of Leclerc. Is dropping down the order pretty rapidly here. I don't know if he ran wide or something. He's just dropped a lot of time, and we need to make this move. We don't have to look after this soft too much. The medium is going to be our main runner this weekend. It's the tyre we're going to spend the longest on, so if this soft tyre doesn't get out, we just need to get past this AlphaTauri of Alexander Albon, who is having a great race so far, holding up Sebastian Vettel. But we do get the move made. We've got the inside line. We get a good exit out of there, and we have made the move on the AlphaTauri. Absolutely brilliant. So now we will just try cool down briefly. We've got some recovery on the fuel to do as well. So that is Giovinazzi in front of us. He is on a medium tyre, so he is the aim to get past here. With Leclerc dropping back, suddenly a podium is on the cards for us here, and hopefully we can keep Gasly somewhere around finishing in the top 10. We do have to think about looking after this medium tyre because it is our main runner for both cars this year, and we want him to have a little bit of time to push on the softs later on in the race, whereas Vettel is running the opposite. He's going to be on the mediums. Pierre Gasly is now down to 11th place though. And are we catching up to Giovinazzi? No, we're almost a second slower than Giovinazzi. That medium tyre a little bit a little bit more able to deal with the temperatures here in Doha. I mean, it's still so hot. It's going to be 29 degrees pretty much all the way to the end of the race. We have cooled down now, so we're going to get pushing again. And Gasly's he says he's struggling to overtake Perez, but then when we switch to him, he gets past Perez as he goes wide on that corner. Leclerc gets past him, and Leclerc gets past us as well, all in one corner. So we're back into the top 10 here. We've pretty much recovered the fuel already with Gasly. We want to push him a little bit further in the race, but Vettel is now running fourth. Is he improving his lap times? That is the question. Can we get somewhere close to Giovinazzi by the end of this race? Meanwhile, Gasly is following Leclerc and Vips in the Red Bull. There is an Aston Martin and an AlphaTauri that we should realistically be able to get by the end of the race. Whether we can do that or not is another question. And how much are we going to improve this lap? Are we now closing in on Giovinazzi, who's 5.5 seconds up the road? We're only about 3/10 quicker than him. But we can start thinking, no, it's still a little bit too early, because I'm not too sure whether this medium tyre can do the 17 laps. Gasly's done 8. I mean, it might be able to if we look after it, but I want to go at least a few more laps, 3 or 4 laps on this soft tyre before we start thinking about getting Vettel off of it. I mean, it's a really short pit stop here. I mean, Alonso might even be able to get in and out in first place once he makes his pit stop. Would an undercut work here in Doha to get us somewhere close to Giovinazzi is a question. Are we going to be in traffic if we get into the pits and we swap? We're going to be fourth coming out of the pits, so maybe we're just going to go for it here with Vettel. We're going to try and get somewhere close to Giovinazzi, then be on fresher tyres than him. He does have a stop to do. He's got to get off those mediums. Possibly will be going for softs. Does he have a pair of softs left for this weekend though? Whoa, actually checked. We won't let that decide our strategy, but here we go. We're going into the pits. We're not that much quicker than him though. These soft tyres pretty much off the boil. We're still remaining about 5.5 seconds. Have we got another lap in this soft tyre? I think we have. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we're not going to cool off over this lap. But anyway, we are now getting into the pits. We're going to have to think about cooling Gasly off again. Hulkenberg's the only car that's been into the pits so far. Who else is in? We've got a few cars in. Vips is in the pits. Ricciardo's in the pits as well. He's in and out going for the undercut. He's gone for the hard tyre to finish the race on. Maybe they think the tyre wear around this track is a little bit higher than we think it is, but we're going for the mediums. We are a little bit slower over the course of this lap. Still about that 5.5 seconds. We're in and out pretty quickly, and we should be able to get out in front of Daniel Ricciardo here. So we're just going to push, keep pushing, not fully out, not all out here with Vettel, but we're going to continue to push. Meanwhile, Gasly is still sat in 8th place here. I mean, Perez, could we get away from Perez? Perez is possibly should be in front of us once we go through the pits, but Vettel is now out of the pits, and he sets the quickest first sector of everyone in this race so far, and the quickest second sector. And it looks like we're going to set the quickest lap of the race as we close in on Giovinazzi. We're almost at the point where we were when we came into the pits, 6.3. We were 5.5 seconds when we came out of the pits. So maybe this massive undercut is going to work out here, because Giovinazzi has got a few more laps in him on this medium tyre. He's doing a 2.8. Is that just because of the pits? That is just because of the pits, isn't it? Why we've got the fastest lap of the race. That is absolutely ludicrous. The pit. Is it just because of where our pit box is that we start our lap after just coming out of the pits? I'm guessing that's why, isn't it? I mean, because we are not actually that quick. There's no way we're 7 seconds quicker. But we're back to 5, and Hamilton's in the pits. I don't think we're going to get the jump on Hamilton here, but we're a lot closer to him than we were, and we do get a good idea. 2:17, so we are still about a second quicker. We're not the 7 seconds quicker it said we were over the last lap, and we're going to have to maybe start cooling down, because we don't want this tyre to fade away before the end of it, because it is running really hot here. And we're going to get Gasly into the pits. What did we get out of that soft tyre with Vettel pushing it? 11 laps. I mean, we're a little bit close, and maybe cool off. I want another lap out of this tyre after this one for Pierre Gasly. I mean, it is overheated. We don't actually want it to go all the way off here. And Giovinazzi, we're still 5.5 seconds behind. We've managed to close in. He is staying out this lap, or is Giovinazzi coming in yet? No, Giovinazzi is not thinking about coming into the pits. Alonso's making his one and only pit stop. Hamilton is pretty close, but as we see, you've got to go around that really slow corner. Alonso loses hardly any time through the pits. Giovinazzi is staying out once again. We are cooling down with Gasly, and I think we've got one more lap in these tyres, which is going to be a full-on push lap. Perez and Vips have closed up, though. They've got the undercut working, but we should be on a quicker tyre now to actually finish this race, because there's not many cars on the softs other than Charles Leclerc, who's dropped way down the order here in the Ferrari. And Vettel's still getting close here. He's getting really close. And Gasly has overheated. Those tyres should see him round to the end of this lap, hopefully. Even fully pushed and fully overheated, they should see him through. We're still 5 seconds off the pace here. Maybe we're just going to cool down, because I think Giovinazzi might be coming in this lap. No, he's staying out another lap, which will help us out. We're just trying to cool down here. I don't know what tyre he's got left. He must be a medium or a hard, though, in that Alfa Romeo. And we've picked up 1.4 seconds off this lap with the tyres overheated and pretty much all gone. That was a really quick in lap there for Pierre Gasly, so he's going to get in and out of the pits here. Should we still be in the top 10? Yes, we are. We're out in front of Yuri Vips, who is on a hard tyre. We're on the softs now, so we do have the luxury. Well, it is the least durable tyre compound, but we've got not that many laps to go, so we might as well push for a little bit here. It's hard to close that 5 seconds up to Giovinazzi, though, isn't it, in that Prema? He has run a hell of a long time, and he is coming into the pits this lap, so we're going to go for it. We need to get position on track over him. So if we can just close up quickly, I don't know, I don't think 5 seconds is close enough to get that. Gasly is overheating now. We don't want these tyres to get too out of it. Just cool him off. Giovinazzi is into the pits, and he's out of the pit box. No, he isn't. It's the Alfa Romeo, the Prema one's right at the end. And Vettel, no, we can't get it. Can we get him on track, though? This medium tyre is possibly going to go off. We might as well risk it, though, haven't we? Because we do have the luxury of being able to get into the pits. It's not like we're going to lose 4th place if these tyres do go off. We might as well just go for it and just push these tyres, see if we can make the pass on track to Giovinazzi. Although Giovinazzi is only second ahead. If we went on to another pair of soft tyres now, I mean, we're pushing all out. We're losing time because he's on the soft tyres, so we're going to take this advantage. We're going to go for it. We do have a fresh pair of softs, because I don't think we're going to be able to close up to him. We can get on to another fresh pair of softs. You see, he's just pulling away from us now on that soft tyre. So we're just going to keep going for it here with Sebastian Vettel. We're going to get him into the pits, and we shouldn't be that far behind. We're going to come out ahead of Ricciardo, which is all right. So we've still got that 6-second gap. I mean, Giovinazzi came out on a used pair of soft tyres, so we should theoretically be quicker than him here. I mean, we've still got a luxury of getting into the pits again and getting off these tyres, but I mean, we're going to set another quickest lap here, because obviously when we come out of the pits, we must just be on right on the border with the finish line, so we can set an outstanding first lap here again. I mean, we did a 2:11 out of the pits last time. What's it going to be this time around? I mean, those tyres have overheated already. We did a 2:10 because of the way the pit is. 5.3 seconds. We're not going to get a real good bearing of what the speed differential is between the two cars. It looks like this 5-second gap is not doable, though, either. Even though we are on a fresher tyre, no, we're still not that much quicker. Gasly has cooled down here. He's got a little bit of fuel to push. He's currently in 10th place. He's behind the Red Bull and Renault in front of him. He's under a little bit of pressure here, though, from Verstappen. But I wouldn't complain about a 4th and 10th. We know our car's not the quickest around here, but for some reason we're not quicker than that Prema in front of us. That Prema looking pretty handy here. Although Schwartzman not getting the same level of performance out of that car that Giovinazzi is. 4.5 seconds now, you never know. Giovinazzi, 4 laps left, 51%. If they're pushing, if they're running too hot, I mean, our tyres are getting pretty even, because we're just pushing all out to try somehow get this podium. We've still got a little bit of fuel recovery to do with Sebastian Vettel. We don't have much luxury of pushing the fuel here. We might as well just keep pushing with Gasly to make sure he can hold on to this 10th place. It's just 4 laps to go. Have we got the pace on Giovinazzi? We've only picked up half a second since really Since the pit stop, we've not really picked up much time. We're not that much quicker than him. I mean, we're doing pretty even times now. I don't really want to cool down because we'll lose so much time. I mean, we're closing in. I mean, if we cool down and then go for it again, I mean, we're 4.1. What would it take us to cool down? Look, just cooling down for like a lap, we lose about a second. And if we cool down any more, we try cool down all the way and get out of the red zone. We've lost about 1.5 seconds. What would pushing get us back from that point? Would it get us that just that 1.5 second back, or would it get us nothing back at all? I mean, Ricciardo might even have to pit again here. I mean, it's so close to the end, but the AI might think about getting off the tyres with 20% to go, which wouldn't be good. But anyway, I think we're going to be able to finish the race without these tyres wearing away. Giovinazzi is a little bit close, 28%, but it's nowhere near the tyres dropping off the cliff here. And we haven't even picked, so running hot and pushing all out is better than running hot and then trying to get back into, well, out of the red. Vettel picks up a pretty decent lap, 2:16.3, but nowhere near quick enough to get anywhere near Giovinazzi here. So we're just going to cool down over the final lap, just make sure that we finish this race. I mean, Gasly's away from Max Verstappen now, so he can do the same. No need to push anything. 4th and 10th place is good enough for me. I mean, Leclerc is out of the points. Leclerc is going to finish in 23rd place here. Not a good day at the office for Leclerc in that Ferrari. Hamilton gets onto the podium. A rare podium this season for Lewis Hamilton. Giovinazzi will be getting a podium. Alonso just dominant this race, even on 2 sets of mediums, just quicker. Mediums looking actually pretty quick, weren't they? Hamilton does pretty well to get up in a second. Giovinazzi, an amazing race into 3rd place. Vettel will grab 4th. Ricciardo a little bit further down in 5th place. Albon will come across the line. Can we see that? That is 6th place. Stroll will grab points for Aston Martin. Perez, Renault 8. Fitz will come across the line in 9th. And Gasly will get a singular point for us. Pierre Gasly 10th. And the 2 Mercedes out of the points. We've got the Haas's out of the points. The McLaren, Saints all the way in last place, 24th. Not a good day for McLaren either. Something really going wrong at McLaren. I mean, it's like the Renault effect. They've got one of the better cars, but they just can't seem to put it together on race days. I mean, Renault have got a lot better recently. I mean, at least they do have both cars in the points here. But that is not bad. That is us as champions, and that is Vettel as drivers' champion, with Leclerc finishing so far outside the points. He's more than 25 points ahead, so Alonso can't catch him in the final race of the season. So we confirm Vettel as drivers' champion. We confirm ourselves as constructors' champion with 1 race to spare. Absolutely outstanding. We had some luck in the early season, and then mid-season we had a brief period of dominance. I think it was 3 races. If we look, there was 3 races where we had 1-2s. Vettel winning 2 and Gasly winning 1 of them. It was just a brief period of dominance which carried us so far ahead that was pretty much the title decided by Japan. We managed to get so far ahead, especially with Ferrari. I mean, Leclerc not picking up many points. Hamilton didn't pick many points up for a massive stretch. He's only got 4 podiums this season. Leclerc has got 5 podiums. Vettel has got 7. And Gasly has got 6, so not too bad across those. Alonso pretty decent, but there's a lot of spells where the Red Bull wasn't performing either. If we go from Italy all the way to the USA, no real performance there. Vips, since his move to Red Bull, has not been too prolific. Look at that. Since this was when he joined, I think, in Italy, he got 4th place. Is that 4th? Yes, I think it is. He's not been too prolific with points either in that second Red Bull. I mean, it's hard at Red Bull. They got rid of Albon because it wasn't performing. Now Vips is in that second car and not performing either. I mean, who knows what's going to go on with Red Bull next season. But anyway, we are champions. We're heading into our home Grand Prix, already confirmed as champions. It's a 32-lap race. It's going to be rainy for the whole weekend, so it should be a pretty exciting race, even if there's nothing on the line for the final race of the season. But anyway, that is it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed. But until next time, I'll see you down the road in Munich for the German Grand Prix. But until that time, goodbye.